When most kids are only 4 or 5, they're just learning how to ride a bike. But for one Roseville resident, he was working on car engines and learning how to race.
I grew up around racing, and it was obviously a very impressionable sport, and I was, so captivated by just the intensity of it and the thrill, and so I had a lot of activity that was always around me in regards to the sport. So it was really attractive for me, and I got started at an early age.
Tony Hunt and his family were all about motorsports when he was growing up. He knew that car racing was the road he wanted to take.
You know, when you're around it so much, that's all that you really want to do. So, if you bug enough and you're always, mentioning it or bringing it up and trying to, get that opportunity, it's, sort of inevitable. It almost just sort of happens for you.
Behind any great champion, there must be a great team. And Hunt has put together one of the best.
He wanted to be a professional race car driver, and at that time, he felt that's all he needed to do was drive a race car. And Mom and Dad said, no, you need to get a job. So I was working at a place that was a plastic manufacturer, and Tony came to me because I knew him from before, and he basically said, hey, I need a job, but I need to take off a lot of time from work to go race. And I said, that fits my schedule. You can work when I need you. That's great. So he came to work for me.
Crew Chief Kerry Fassig has been involved in racing for 24 years, and his main job is to organize the team and cars so they're prepared for race day.
It's like we have this plan, and we put this plan together, and it's working in the shop. And so when we get to the racetrack, we don't have to thrash. We're prepared, and so part of being prepared is winning.
Head mechanic Scott Nannini has been part of Hunt's team for 8 years. He says there's great liability in keeping a car running.
It's just a responsibility. I mean, it's you're locking down bolts on a wheel or a suspension piece, and he's out there going 140 miles an hour, so there's a lot of responsibility to it.
Not only has Tony Hunt stood on the podium as a champion race car driver, he has also appeared on the big screen in some of Hollywood's most dramatic racing scenes.
Well, the stunt business kind of evolved around racing as well. I mean, a lot of the guys that race also sort of, make appearances on TV shows and do some of the stunt work as well. So it was just really a network of guys that I was always around that were either racing and doing the stunt stuff and moonlighting as a stunt guy. And so I got, exposed to the environment really early. I've been in some pretty big movies. Really, Talladega Nights was probably the first big movie that I was in, and that's a movie with Will Ferrell, one of his pretty high profile.
According to Blakesley Sports Media, Hunt has won 55 Sprint Car Series races. He is also an 8-time point champion.
The average person has an 8-to-5 job that they go to the same shop or the same building or same office every day and do the same job, and then at 5 o'clock they punch out and they go home, and he doesn't have that kind of a job. He's at a different venue.
Hunt's recipe for success is simple.
It's a sport that requires a lot of dedication, and a lot of times in any type of sport you have to make a lot of sacrifices. So you have to take the good and the bad, and you just have to be willing to make those sacrifices and be completely dedicated to it, because that's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And I've always had that mentality in regards to my dedication for the sport, and it's been fortunately for me it's been very successful. But I encourage anybody that wants to get involved in automobile racing. It's a great family-orientated sport, and it's really kept me on a very driven and focused path in life.
Reporting for WCTV 19 with photographer Haley Martin, I'm Frankie Wenson.